In this video, I'm going to cover our first method of voting, which we call the plurality method, but it's probably more commonly known as the popular vote. So the plurality method, or sort of the popular vote, is really simple. Basically, all we're doing is we're looking at the option, the candidate, the choice that had the most first choice votes. So I'll just say it with the candidate. The candidate with the most first choice votes wins. So whoever has the most first choice votes is going to win. So all we have to do is count out how many first choice votes each candidate received, okay? So let's take the candy example that we had from before. Here's our preference table or preference schedule. And what it does is it's telling us how many people voted in each of those particular ways. The nice thing about the preference table is that, look, here's where first choice votes live. Right? Everything in here is what people voted first, and then also how many people voted first. So Kit Kats as an example, right here, if I were to count these Kit Kats, there are 15 people that voted that way. So I'm gonna, let's see, let me write it underneath here, right? So 15 people voted Kit Kat first. So that tells me that right now, Kit Kat has 15 votes. How about Snickers, right? Next, coming across here, there were 14 people that voted this way. So this here tells me that Snickers has 14 votes. 14 people voted Snickers first. That's what this column is telling me, this group right here, right? This group is telling me that. But when we get to M&Ms, notice that there are two types of votes that had happened where M&Ms, or it's two types of ballot results that happened, that we got in this process, where M&Ms came up first. So what we actually have here, what we have to do is we have to say, well, 3 people voted M&Ms first in this group. Those people also voted Snickers second, Kit Kat third. 8 people over here voted M&Ms first, but Kit Kat second and Snickers third. So there are 3 plus 8, which is 11 people that voted M&Ms first. Okay, so who actually wins this? It's whoever has the most votes. Now, normally what I would probably do here is I would actually write this out like saying, let's kind of, this is me kind of explaining things, but in terms of kind of helping out with the process here, I would just say, the counting votes, counting first place votes. Here's Kit Kat first place, 15. Snickers. Here's Snickers in the first place spot. There were 14 of those. M&Ms. M&Ms is in this first spot with 3 people. But then here's M&Ms in the first spot again, but with 8 more people. A total of 8 plus 3 equals 11. This is probably a more simple way to just kind of write out that you're doing the tally of the votes. Just kind of going across, looking at those first place votes across the table. So this tells me Kit Kat wins, has the most votes. So our winner. Now, normally, if we were in person, we could have a little more of a discussion about this, but we don't have to. We can just have this discussion with ourselves. You just say to yourself, self, yes. Who won, and did they have a majority of the votes, right? Well, Kit Kat won. They had 15 votes, but was that a majority? So just a reminder, when we talk about things like majority in voting, or in any case, it's more than half, okay? So majority, we're looking at really, did the winner have more than half the total votes? Okay, well, let's check out how many total votes there were, right? So again, this is nice and easy here. All the total votes are up here on top. We're going to add those all up. So the total votes are 15 plus 14 plus 3 plus 8. There were a total of 40 votes. I'm going to add that up. Okay. Well, half of 40 would have been 20. Half of 40 is 20. Did Kit Kat get 20 votes, right? More than 20 votes. Kit Kat did not get more than 20 votes, which means to me that they didn't have a majority of the votes. So what's sort of interesting here is in this process, the way we have it, our winner didn't actually win more than half of all votes that were cast, right? So Kit Kat got 15 votes. This is not more than 20, right? So the question you want to ask yourself in a bigger picture here is, are you okay with a winner not receiving more than half of the votes, right? And we sort of have to be okay with that because this is the system that we're currently working in. This is the process that we've chosen. But it is possible that like votes get spread out in a way where the majority doesn't go to the winner. Okay, this is one of the problems with this method. Okay, we'll take a look at some other examples and one more example of how there's a problem with this method coming up next. So this next example is really like not something that I normally do that much of because it's a little bit off track, but I kind of want to mention this because it's interesting to see if you were to compare the different choices that we had against each other, how would they do? So in this case, how does Kit Kat fare against Snickers? And this is something that you want to think about because if we saw in the last one with this voting scheme, Kit Kat won. But how many times was Kit Kat favored over Snickers, right? What happens if we kind of remove a candy from the results and then kind of pair them up and see how they do? So if I were to say not look at the M&M results at all, I would say M&M's gone. I only have Kit Kat and Snickers. That tells me that if I only have Kit Kat versus Snickers, that Kit Kat would have gotten those first 15. If I don't have M&Ms here, then Snickers would have got those 14, right? Because M&M's gone. If M&M was gone, remember, people keep their preferences. So here's M&M's gone. That means 3 more votes for Snickers. And if M&M's gone over here, that would mean Kit Kat's on top, 8 more votes for Kit Kat. So that's 23 compared to 17. Kit Kat's our winner. But let's try this again. Let's pretend that the store is out of Kit Kats and what happens. So if the store is out of Kit Kats, then we have only M&Ms and Snickers. In the first column, Snickers would have gotten those 15 votes. In the second column, Snickers still would get those 14 votes because it's on top. But in the third column, M&Ms would be on top, which is going to be 3. And in the last column, M&Ms is on top. That would be 8. That's 29 and 11. So Snickers wins in this case. So in the absence of Kit Kat, Snickers would have won. Okay. Now, what about in the absence of Snickers? So if I take Snickers out and I'm looking at Kit Kat versus M&Ms, I'm going to kind of slide this down here a little bit. So Kit Kat in the first column would have gotten those 15. But if Snickers is gone, M&M actually gets those 14. And then if Snickers is gone, M&M still gets those 3. And if Snickers is gone, M&M still gets those 8, which is 14 plus 11, 25. So M&M's is going to win. So what's weird here is if M&M's is gone, okay, it kind of makes sense. Kit Kat's still going to win. If Kit Kat's gone, okay, maybe it makes sense that Snickers is going to win. But if Snickers was gone and you were comparing Kit Kat to M&M's, now M&M's wins. But Kit Kat won the original voting method. So this is kind of a problem and kind of something weird here. So the idea I want to get across in this example is this is weird because Kit Kat won the original vote, but when we remove Snickers, M&M's win. This is not something I want you to worry too much about now. I'm kind of planting a seed for something in the future. So for now, just know this is interesting. The winner changed depending on who was in the candidate pool. And this is a weirdness that happens with voting, okay? But for now, let's go and have you take a look at another example. So I've got another example here. I want you to pause the video and try it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and write out my solution, fast forward through some stuff, and then talk about the answer afterwards. Salad ends up being the winner. Hopefully you were able to pause and do the quick arithmetic there. But basically all we're doing here again is we're looking at where's those first place votes at. So salad was first in the first column. That means 6 votes for salad. Salad was first in the next column. That's 12 more votes. And that's how I got the 18 total for salads. Came across tacos next. Tacos had 4 and 12 in their first place spots. So 16. And noodles was 4 and 8 in their first place spots. So that was 12. So the winner's salad. We're going to take a look at another voting method next time. And for now, good luck on the skills assignment.